So Tim Walz. Tim Walz is a interesting person, right? What I mean by this is that generally people that enter into politics, they don't really have the same issues that he has specifically, right? So, for example, cash on hand, he doesn't really have much cash on hand. I think he's just waiting for Kamala Harris's money to basically come in and save the day, right? That's kind of what I see, at least. She has much more cash on hand. He has no investments, no stocks, right? Like, he's not really financially savvy, guys, right? I'm not sure I want someone in any type of power that at least doesn't understand how things work, because it just seems like if that's not your lived experience, then you're going to go against it. Do I really want you to go against the stock market, bro? Not really. All right. just a reality here. All right. It sounds like, he's the any man's man, basically. He's the any man character. Well, yeah, character, but not candidate, guys. He's any man's candidate. That's kind of what I get from him. That's the energy he basically exudes, guys. I think cash on hand, again, I keep bringing this up because it's slightly important here. He made a pretty big profit off of selling his house recently, type of thing. He had purchased his house in 1997. He recently listed it for $315,000. So, to my knowledge, that's really the only actual asset that he has, kind of at all, right? And I want someone, again, running the country that doesn't fully grasp how to utilize the banking systems or any type of stock market specifically, guys, or bonds. I don't know, guys. That scares me. It sounds like we're going to go broke. It sounds like the economy is going to get worse than it is. It sounds like inflation is going to absolutely skyrocket. I'm not sure I like that personally. No. But all right, let's see what this is. See where this is taking us, guys. Past clips come back to haunt Tim Walz, the most extreme governor in the country. All right. Just a suggestion via Discord. Let's go ahead and jump into this immediately.
Kamala Harris tapping Tim Walz as her VP pick with hopes he can appeal to working class voters with moderate Midwest values. But these comments are already coming back to haunt him.
Okay.
We saw large, peaceful protests. A society that does not put equity and inclusion at the center of it is certainly going to eventually come to the places where we're at.
This is that catch-22. The more police are there, the more tension it is. The more tension it is, the more chance you have to get things.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Just do the damn work.
He talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory.
Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor and author of the new book, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkey, and he joins us now. Joe, given your book...
But the same exact thing can be said for Republicans, right? There is no real similarity from 20 years ago, Republican Party, and right now. There are no similarities. Trump absolutely changed the entirety of that party, specifically. Okay, so I think it goes both ways in this instance here. And also today's Democrat Party is not the same, right? I mean, literally, if you literally look at some of the older Democrats specifically, you'll realize that a lot of them were Republicans. They've recently changed within the last decade or two. Ideologies changed, a whole lot of things that could have, went into that. But in fact, there are no similarities between either of these parties, guys.
Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkey, and he joins us now. Joe, given your book title, you are the perfect person to talk to about this. And here is how the New York Times has covered this newly minted Democrat ticket. They say Walz throwing punches at Republicans, making his big entrance with Harris. Another headline, how Kamala Harris trusted her gut and picked Tim Walz. And lastly, Kamala Harris and Coach Walz ease into their new partnership. How's that fair and balanced coverage for you?
Fair and balanced, yes. Your reminder, Carly, that the New York Times has not endorsed a Republican presidential candidate since 1956, Dwight D. Eisenhower. That one clip that you played.
Fair and balanced, the concept of it doesn't really make sense on this station. Because they have never, I can't remember a time when Fox News said anything positive about a Democrat, right? So this is an extremely partisan channel, and the New York Times is also extremely partisan towards the left.
all of them are bad, but the one with Anderson Cooper, where he says he wants to invest in a ladder company to buy a ladder for all illegal immigrants to enter the country by going over Donald Trump's wall. Remember, he said that back in 2019, right?
That's also not what he said.
That one,
If the statement that he's referring to is the statement that we just heard, he's basically saying if you build a wall, they're still going to come, right? That's it, right? And the fact is that unfortunately, actually no. I think that the wall would have absolutely helped the situation at the southern border, right? I think it would have, at least on certain parts, at least Eagle Pass, build a wall right there. All right, do that right there. But what he's saying is that no matter what, people are still going to try to find a way to come. Yeah, it's some sarcasm. Yeah, you have to fully grasp what sarcasm is.
Considering that immigration, illegal immigration, is a top 1 or 2 issue going into this election, I would imagine the Trump campaign already has that campaign ad at the ready to play in states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and particularly Arizona, which has been overrun by illegal immigration. Yeah, when you say one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness, I'm sorry, I just don't see how you can, if you're the New York Times, unless you're dishonest, which they are, push this person, Tim Walz, to the middle when he makes comments like that. This is somebody, Carly, who's pushed to eliminate fossil fuels and gas-powered cars from Minnesota. That will cost auto workers thousands of jobs when that comes to fruition. He was the most extreme governor in the country, even more than Gavin Newsom in California when it came to COVID and mask mandates.
What do you mean? No one is worse than California. Are you? Hold up, guys. If that's the case, then oh my God. All right. I was wondering how we were going to get to the point where someone says, at least, the most extreme governor in the country. All right. If you're just referring to the 19 mandates, I'm not sure that's the only thing you can kind of point out to say that. Because, bro, look at California. It's a dumpster fire. All right. All of it. Throw that place away. It's bad. Okay. No, Gavin Newsom is the worst governor in the United States of America.
He supports sex changes for people like my daughter, my 10-year-old, without parental permission, supports open borders to the point, we talked about the ladder company. It supports sanctuary cities, supports free health care for illegals, supports free college for illegals, supports illegals getting driver's licenses, and presided over Minneapolis during the 2020 riots. And I'll leave it here. You remember, whole blocks were burned to the ground, $500 million in damage. The police precinct was burned to the ground. Yeah. It looked like the Nakatomi Plaza at the end of Die Hard. So, these are all things that you can't spin away from. But the New York Times, they're going to do their best. That's for sure.
Well, listen, there are a lot of reporters here at Fox News who would love to question Tim Walz on his past statements and positions, and Kamala Harris as well. But she has not held a formal press conference or sit-down interview in the 17 days since she has become the presumptive Democrat nominee. Now, Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, he addressed the media on this, not holding Harris accountable yesterday. Listen here.
I think that you guys have got to do a better job at actually forcing Kamala Harris to answer questions. This is a person who's been the presumptive Democrat nominee for 16 days. She hasn't taken a single real question from a reporter. The American people deserve to get to know the people who want to lead them. And I think it's shameful for Kamala Harris, but increasingly for the media, that she's taking a basement strategy of running from reporters instead of getting in front of them, answering tough questions about her record, and letting the American people know who she is.
Joe, quickly on this basement strategy 2.0.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Why does J.D. Vance have to tell the media how to do their jobs? We should be hearing this from reporters, from journalists, saying, why can't we have access to the Democratic nominee? As you mentioned, 17 days and counting. Tim Walz will be hit as well. And accountability apparently is absent because the media doesn't seem very interested to actually hear what Kamala Harris has to say when they ask her a question, as opposed to when she's reading a telephone.
Yeah, because they know one thing, right? It's going to be word salad, okay? And what they're trying to do, specifically the Democrat Party, extremely powerful party, guys, right? Both parties are extremely powerful, right? But the thing is here, the last thing they want her to do is speak publicly. Because they know exactly what's going to happen as soon as she opens her mouth. She's going to say something completely reckless. She's going to disregard literally her record, in fact, right? That's the reality of the situation here, right? They do not want her to speak. They don't want her to speak.
Prompter or Tim Walz, for that matter. It's shameful, quite frankly, Carly.
Yeah. Well, we'll be keeping track of the days until she finally does the sit-down interview, which should just be standard for a presidential candidate on day one.
Exactly.
Jeff, thank you for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
It's fair, though. I mean, yeah, if you would be running as a candidate of any party, yeah, I think definitely you should be at least able to have a conversation. But unfortunately, we all know exactly how this is going to go once she actually gets in front of the microphone. It's going to just go completely to the trash, right? But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Now, in terms of the title of the video itself, there was a lot of things that were said that were kind of overblown, right? So a lot of the things that the guy that was talking was saying, he was making a bigger deal out of kind of small, irrelevant statements here. None of these things immediately tell me that okay, the rioting situation was a little bit crazy. Okay, that's one. That's a strong one. But the most extreme governor in the country, bro, Gavin Newsom, no doubt is that person. Look at California. Okay, look at California. Skid Row really cannot exist anywhere else but California. Okay, all right. Listen, Figueroa Street cannot exist anywhere else large scale than California. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.